When I told my in-laws I was pregnant, my sister-in-law smiled. But it wasn't happiness in her eyes. It was something else. What I didn't know was that she'd been planning to ruin everything. The baby shower, my marriage, even my reputation. But what she didn't expect, that I'd expose her first. My name is Emily Carter, 29 years old. And for the first time in a long time, I was finally happy. My husband James and I had been trying for a baby for almost 2 years. We had done everything: diet changes, schedules, tracking apps, awkward doctor visits, and late-night crying sessions after yet another negative test. When that second pink line finally appeared, I was in shock. It was a quiet Saturday morning when I found out. I took the test without telling James, just in case. When I saw it, I sat on the bathroom floor and cried. Not sad tears. These were the kind of tears that come with relief and joy so big, you don't know how to contain them. I told James that night over dinner. I placed a tiny onesie on his plate that said, Daddy-to-be. His reaction? He froze, then looked up at me, with tears already forming. He whispered, "Are you serious?" And I nodded. He jumped up, wrapped me in a hug, and kissed me 100 times. We sat on the floor of our kitchen, laughing and crying, just holding each other. That night, we decided we'd tell our family the next weekend during Sunday dinner at his parents' house. I wish I could say the joy lasted longer. Complicated. His mom was sweet, though overly traditional. His dad was kind, but usually stayed out of drama. His brother Adam was cool and friendly. And then there was her, Vanessa, my sister-in-law. Vanessa was James's older brother's wife. She was sharp, stylish, and could turn a compliment into an insult without skipping a beat. You know those people who always seem perfect but somehow make you feel small? That's Vanessa, and she had always made it very clear. I wasn't good enough for James, not rich enough, not connected enough, not cultured enough. Still, we tried to get along, at least for family dinners. That Sunday, the whole family gathered at James's parents' place. It was loud, filled with smells of baked chicken, garlic bread, and vanilla candles. Everyone was seated when James stood up and said, "We have some exciting news." I stood beside him, and he took my hand. "We're having a baby." There was a second of silence, and then cheers. James's mom cried. Adam clapped. His dad looked genuinely happy. Then Vanessa said the words that chilled me. "Oh, wow, already? That's quick." Quick? After 2 years of trying? She smiled, but her eyes were scanning me. Judging. I brushed it off. Maybe I was being sensitive. But that night, James and I both noticed she didn't hug us like the others did. She didn't ask how far along I was. She didn't ask about names, due dates, or how we felt. Instead, she just watched me the whole evening. Quiet, too quiet. The next morning, my phone pinged. Vanessa had created a group chat with all the women in the family. Me, James's mom, his aunt, his cousin Claire, and herself. Group name, Sparkles Baby Bash Planning Squad Sparkles. I was surprised. Maybe I had misjudged her. She sent the first message. "Since Emily's not from around here, I figured I'd take charge of planning the baby shower. Thoughts?" That was true. I had moved to their town only after marrying James. I didn't have many local friends, and I was grateful someone wanted to take the lead. Everyone agreed. James's mom said how sweet it was. Claire was already suggesting themes. I sent a message too. "That's so kind of you, Vanessa. Thank you, I'm so excited." Her reply, "Of course, I want this to be unforgettable." That word lingered. Whispers and rumors. Over the next few weeks, things got strange. James's cousin Claire called me one day and said, "Hey, weird question. Were you and James trying to get pregnant, or was it like an oops?" I was stunned. "No, of course we were trying." "Why?" Claire hesitated. "Just stuff I heard." "Forget it." "Stuff she heard?" That night, James came home upset. "Did you tell anyone we had problems in our marriage?" he asked. I blinked. Number why? My dad asked if everything was okay. He said he heard that the baby was a Band-Aid fix. I was furious. There was only one common thread between Claire, his parents, and everyone else, Vanessa. But what was her goal? A month later, Vanessa sent out baby shower invites. She hadn't shown me the designs before sending them. I figured it would be cute, pink and gold or baby elephants or something. But when I saw it, my jaw dropped. The theme was, back in the day, teen dreams and oopsie babies, of pacifiers and high school lockers. There was even a tagline, from party girl to diaper queen, celebrating Emily's surprise journey. I was 29, a full-grown adult, married, educated. This made it sound like I was some 17-year-old who got knocked up at prom. I called her immediately. "Vanessa, what is this theme?" She laughed. It's just a joke. Lighten up. You were a bit of a wild girl, weren't you? Excuse me? Come on, we've all heard the stories, she said. I thought it was cheeky. I was shaking with anger. This is humiliating. Emily, it's just a theme. Don't make this about you. My hands were trembling. That phrase, don't make this about you. But it was about me, my baby, my family. And now my reputation was being turned into a joke. After the phone call with Vanessa, I sat on the couch, stunned and furious. James noticed instantly. Emily, what happened? I showed him the invitation. His face went pale. What? What the hell is this? That's what I asked her, I said, my voice shaky. She called it cheeky. James was quiet for a second. Then he took out his phone. I'm calling her. No, I said quickly. If you call, she'll just twist it like I'm overreacting. I need proof. That's when I started screen recording everything. Every message, every time she sent something in the group that seemed off. I was documenting it all, and it didn't take long for her behavior to escalate. A shower of sabotage. Over the next 2 weeks, Vanessa micromanaged every detail of the shower, but with a disturbing twist. She refused to let me invite any of my own friends from out of town, claiming it was too far for them and too expensive. She picked out a cake shaped like a bottle of wine, with a label that said, last glass before dirty diapers. And then she picked the venue, a bar, not a cute brunch spot or a garden, an actual bar. I thought it would be nostalgic, she said. You know, for your party days. I wanted to scream. But the final straw? She sent out anonymous baby trivia cards to the guests to fill out in advance. One of the questions? How many boyfriends did Emily have before James? Another. What's the craziest party story you've heard about her? That's when I broke. I showed James the trivia cards. She's trying to humiliate you, he said flatly. She's not just being petty, she's calculated. I know, I said, and I'm done playing nice. We came up with a plan, a way to flip the script. The surprise guest, I contacted my best friend from college, Rachel. She'd known me for over a decade and had also been on the receiving end of Vanessa's passive-aggressive shade more than once. Rachel was sharp, confident, and the kind of woman who didn't let anything slide. I asked her to come down and help me pull off what we called Operation Baby Bomb. She agreed instantly. We also printed new trivia cards for the shower, my version. We'd switch them out before the games began, and just in case, Rachel would record everything. The baby shower begins. The day arrived. I wore a soft pink dress with floral embroidery. My bump was finally starting to show, and I felt beautiful, despite the knot in my stomach. James dropped me off early, and I walked into the bar/venue. To Vanessa's credit, she decorated it well. Too well. It looked like a magazine cover, but everything screamed Vanessa, her style, her music, her signature drink menu. I was a prop in her performance. She greeted me with a cheek kiss and a tight smile. So glad you could make it to your own shower, she whispered. I smiled back. Wouldn't miss it. That's when Rachel walked in, camera rolling discreetly from her purse. Vanessa's face dropped. Rachel, I didn't realize you were invited. I'm full of surprises, Rachel said, hugging me. The guests trickled in, James's family, some friends, even a few women I didn't know well, but knew Vanessa adored. It was time to play games. Vanessa stood up, holding her stack of trivia cards. All right, ladies, let's get personal. Rachel stepped forward. Actually, she said, voice loud and clear, Emily had a little edit. These cards are out of date. She handed out our version. Sample questions. What's Emily's biggest pregnancy craving? What's the name of the baby's heartbeat song? How long have James and Emily been trying for a baby? People smiled. Real smiles. Vanessa stood frozen, lips twitching, and then she snapped. She stepped forward and snatched one of the new trivia cards from a guest's hand. Who approved this? She hissed. I did, I said calmly. You were busy turning my baby shower into a roast. You're making a scene, she whispered sharply. Rachel pulled out her phone. Already filming. You recorded me? Everything. And before you call it illegal, this is a public event. Also, you've been publicly slandering a pregnant woman for weeks. Keep going. Vanessa's face turned red. You are insane. I was just having fun. By spreading lies about me being a party girl? That my baby was an accident? That I trapped James? The room fell silent. Everyone turned to Vanessa. James's mother stood up slowly. Is that true? She asked Vanessa. Vanessa opened her mouth. But then James walked in. He hadn't planned to come, but I had texted him, and he came in at the perfect moment. "I can confirm it's true," he said. "Vanessa's been lying about my wife, spreading rumors, mocking her. This was supposed to be a celebration, not your stage." Silence, crushing silence. Then James's mom said something I'll never forget. "Vanessa, leave." She blinked. "What?" "Leave," she repeated. "You are no longer welcome here." Vanessa didn't leave right away. She stood there, in the middle of the baby shower she tried to weaponize, with her jaw locked and nostrils flared like she was deciding whether to cry or attack. But eventually, with every pair of eyes locked on her and phones not so subtly recording from under tables, she did something totally un-Vanessa. She left. She didn't shout, didn't defend herself. She turned, picked up her designer handbag, and walked out. But I knew that wouldn't be the end, not with someone like Vanessa. Damage control. After she left, the energy in the room completely shifted. James came to my side and kissed my forehead. His mom hugged me and whispered, "I'm so sorry. I didn't know." Even Adam, Vanessa's husband, looked shaken. He pulled James aside. They talked privately for a while, and when James returned, he had a look on his face I hadn't seen before. Pity. "She's been telling Adam that you've been gossiping about the family, making up stories, even that you didn't want the baby." "What?" "She's been planting stories on both sides, trying to make us fight." Rachel leaned in. Classic narcissist. Divide and conquer. The next day, Vanessa texted me. It was long. It was venomous. It was gold. "You might think you won, but you've just shown everyone how unstable you really are. You couldn't even handle a little teasing without making it into a public scene. Just wait. This family forgets fast." But they never forget drama. And guess who caused it? She kept going. Accused me of being manipulative. Said I ambushed her at the shower. Claimed I faked the trivia switch to make her look bad. What she didn't realize was I was still screen recording everything. I sent the message to James, and he sent it to the family group chat with one line. "This is what Emily has been dealing with. Decide for yourselves." Over the next week, the entire family dynamic began to change. Vanessa tried to call damage control. She reached out to Claire, James's cousin. Claire sent me screenshots of their conversation. "Vanessa, I think Emily is having hormonal issues. I'm worried about the baby, honestly. She's paranoid." Claire, "You literally tried to humiliate her at her baby shower. Maybe worry about yourself." One by one, people started stepping away from her. James's mom stopped inviting her to weekly dinners. Adam moved out of their shared house. That's when things got messy. The secret she hid Adam showed up at our place one evening looking like a ghost. "I need to talk," he said. We made him tea. He sat silently for 5 minutes, then finally spoke. "I know why Vanessa hates you." We looked at him, confused. "She can't have kids." Silence. "What?" I whispered. "She found out a year ago. She never told the family. She said if anyone found out, she'd become the one everyone pities. But ever since you announced your pregnancy, she changed, became cruel, obsessed." My heart broke, for a second. Just a second. Then I remembered how she tried to turn my pregnancy into a punchline. "Why didn't she just say something?" I asked. "She doesn't know how to be vulnerable," Adam said. "She only knows how to control." Rumors strike back. Vanessa's final move came 2 weeks later. A fake Reddit post appeared under an anonymous account. It was written like a true story from a concerned friend of mine. The post claimed, "I faked my pregnancy to trap James. I was jealous of Vanessa's success. I got pregnant after cheating on James with an ex." It was shared to family and friends anonymously. But what she didn't realize was, James' cousin, Claire, is a digital forensics hobbyist. She traced the IP. It was Vanessa. That was the final nail. The family cuts her off. Once the truth was exposed, there was no saving face. James's mom called a family meeting and didn't invite Vanessa. She sat us all down and said, "I love my family, but I will not tolerate manipulation and cruelty, especially not when there's a baby on the way." Adam filed for separation. James's dad blocked Vanessa entirely. Claire posted a message online debunking the fake Reddit story and openly defended me. Vanessa. She tried to claim her account was hacked. No one believed her. The apology I never got. I never received a real apology from Vanessa. But months passed, and I focused on what mattered most, my baby. James and I decorated the nursery. We had our last ultrasound. And when we heard the baby, heart beat again, I cried. Not because of Vanessa, not because of what she did, but because I had survived it. Months passed. The drama died down, and silence replaced the chaos. James and I moved forward, focusing on the life we were bringing into the world. The nursery was painted soft sage green, with tiny gold stars across the ceiling. Every night, I'd sit in the rocking chair, hand on my belly, reading out loud so our daughter would know my voice. We decided to name her Lila Grace. It meant night beauty and blessing, because that's what she was, a quiet, beautiful blessing after the storm Vanessa tried to unleash. The unexpected visitor. On a cold morning in early March, I went into labor. James rushed me to the hospital. It was fast, intense, and terrifying, but James held my hand the entire time. And at 7:04 a.m., Lila came into the world screaming with powerful lungs and a full head of hair. She was perfect. I wept when they placed her on my chest. I couldn't believe it. After all the stress, the games, the pain, she was here, safe, real. We were finally a family. And for a few hours, the world felt right, until the nurse came in. "There's a woman in the waiting room asking to see you," she said. "Her name is Vanessa." A moment of rage. I froze. James stood up. "What the hell is she doing here?" "I don't know," I said, "but maybe I need to hear what she has to say." For closure, James didn't like it, but he respected my choice. I told the nurse she could come in, but just me and Vanessa. James stayed outside with the baby. Vanessa entered quietly. No makeup, dark circles under her eyes, hair tied up in a rushed bun. She didn't look like herself, not the polished queen bee who once orchestrated my public humiliation. She looked small. The apology I never thought I'd hear. She didn't speak at first. She looked at the hospital bed, the wires, the empty crib beside me. Then she sat down. "I didn't come to fight," she said softly. "I came to say I'm sorry." I said nothing. She swallowed. "I was jealous, angry, broken in ways I didn't even understand. And I took it out on you. You didn't deserve any of it. Not the baby shower, not the lies, none of it." Tears slipped from her eyes. "I know I can't undo the damage. I know I'm probably dead to your family now, but I couldn't let your daughter be born into this world thinking I hated her mother." That's when I cried, not for her, but for everything I had carried, silently, for months. "You hurt me," I whispered. "You made me feel unsafe during the most vulnerable time of my life." "I know," she said, "and I'll regret it every day." We sat in silence. Then I said something I hadn't planned. "I forgive you." A surprising goodbye. She blinked, shocked. "I don't forget," I continued. "And forgiveness doesn't mean you get to be in our lives. But I don't want to carry this anymore. It's not mine to carry." She stood up slowly, wiping her face. "I'll never bother you again." She turned to leave, but paused at the door. "Her name?" "Lila Grace," I said. She smiled through her tears. "It's beautiful, just like her mom." And then she left. A new beginning. James came back into the room, holding Lila in his arms. "Everything okay?" he asked. I nodded. "It is now." He handed me our daughter, and I looked down at her soft face, her tiny fingers curled around mine. I realized something then. Vanessa may have tried to humiliate me, break me, twist everything good into something cruel. But she failed, because the day Lila was born, I didn't feel shame. I felt stronger than I ever had. Final thoughts. So, if you're reading this, wondering if family drama will ruin your joy, or if people's cruelty will crush you, just know this: they only win if you give them your peace, and I refuse to give anyone that power again. I have a daughter to raise, and a beautiful life ahead of me. What would you have done if Vanessa showed up at your hospital door? Comment below. And if you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more crazy, emotional, and real-life inspired Reddit stories.